NASCAR's been coming to the California Speedway for 10 years, and the inaugural race was won by Californian Jeff Gordon. It's the sister speedway to the Michigan racetrack, so we can expect wide open, fast racing where the cars really don't get too close to one another. It's also a place that favors smooth drivers, so you can look for guys like Jeff Gordon, Greg Biffle, and Matt Kenseth to have a good day. We're also now just 2 races away from the cutoff to the chase for the Nextel Cup, and many of the guys in the top 12 can lock in after this race, and that takes just a little bit of drama away from Richmond. There are 2 very good reasons why Jimmie Johnson feels right at home at the California Speedway. It's the closest track to his home of El Cajon, California, and also the place where he got his first Nextel Cup win in just his 13th start back in April of 2002. A finish of 37th or better will lock Johnson into the chase for the Nextel Cup and guarantee him at least a shot at becoming a repeat champion. Along with his win here, Jimmie's got 5 top 5 finishes, and that's second best among active drivers. Add to that the fact that he's qualified second, missing the pole by just 3/1000ths of a second, and this blistering hot day in California just may belong to Californian Jimmie Johnson.
Kurt Busch said it is very important for him to lead the first lap and get those 5 bonus points. But take a look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. He is making a run from lap 1 on.
Guys, we talked about Dale Earnhardt Jr. He can't mess around at all. He's got to go forward. He's got to get that thing to the front, get those bonus points, and that's what's on his mind right now. But look behind you. They're using the 3rd lane, the 2nd lane. They're already all over this racetrack and just not completed lap 1.
Look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Very aggressive here in the early laps. You got to wonder if that engine's going to hold up. This is one of the hardest tracks on engines, and they've had their share of engine problems.
A very high Kyle Busch way up rimrod, and we saw a couple of cars running way up there in the NASCAR Busch Series event here last night.
I think these guys are now just trying to get that upper groove cleaned off. It's going to take them a little while just to get some rubber laid down up there and get that where they can run way up on the racetrack, and Kyle Busch is doing that now. He's just cleaning his groove off right now.
Guys, I'm real surprised that Kyle Busch went up there this early because this track's been sitting all night long. It's dirty on top of the track. You know, that's a lot of nerve. But take a look at this. He just got that momentum off of turn 4 right down to the bottom. And if you can take advantage of it, you better go for it, and he did it.
Big concern here has to be the engines and how long the engines will live here in this oppressive heat. I guess you worry about the RPM range.
Especially when you're running up high on the racetrack like you see Kyle Busch. That makes the engine turn, you know, quite a few more RPMs. So if you're worried about your engine, I'd want to try to keep that down a little bit. But these drivers are going to fight and try to find the fastest groove on the racetrack.
I'll tell you what, Andy, worse than that, did you see that sun going into turn 3? That's what these drivers are going to fight for about an hour until that sun sets behind the grandstands or the back wall over there, enter in turn 3. Can't hardly see anything. That's going to be a tough one.
And it's only going to get worse as the sun goes down. Rusty, how do you handle that at 190 miles an hour when you suddenly come off the corner and you can't see anything but this bright light in your eyes?
Well, Jerry, when you come down the back straightaway, well, you got a pretty good visual of who you're following and where they're at, how far ahead of you are. And also your spotters are helping you. They're helping you quite a bit. So, hey, this is a tough thing. When I used to race here, going into turn 3, that's one thing that's always concerned me early in this race.
31 car, last night's winner, Jeff Burton, looking for that first win here at California Speedway. Dave.
And talked with Rocky Ryan, the spotter for the 31 of Jeff Burton earlier today, about how he spots differently when Jeff drives this race at this time of day and with that blinding sun you guys are talking about. He said, I basically talk around his car a lot further out and in both directions. He says a lot of tracks, I don't tell Jeff what's going on way in front of him, but here I do. I tell him about the cars in front, the cars in back, much more information than I usually give him. And Jeff says, keep it coming. I'm not going to tell you to shut up.
You know, if a spotter's starting to aggravate you, you're going to tell them to shut up. But take a look at this, side by side already. 3 wide coming down the back straightaway into turn 3. Dave Blaney on the inside.
This is 28 through about 36 here. These cars all together battling for position. The 18th is Yaley, and he's in 29th position.
You have to love a racetrack that's as wide and smooth as this. These cars can run 3, 4 wide, no problem.
Take a look at this front straight. You regain a lot of speed coming down the front straight. You get a draft, really let your car turn more RPM and run faster, and then you dive down to that bottom groove. And this is where it gets tricky because it's awful flat down there.
Battle for position. This is for 5th spot as Kyle Busch sliding right on by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Take the 5th spot away, and now will set his sights on the 12th car of Ryan Newman. Alan.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team knows that they have their work cut out for them if they're going to make this championship chase because they've got a lot of points to make up. They also know that in one race, they're not going to make up what's happened over the last 22 races. So their object is tonight, try and maximize the points that they can gain. That means get out, try and lead laps, try and win the race or get the best finish they can, and then hope some other people have some bad luck that gives them a shot next week at Richmond. That was the conversation just before the race from the 18.
Alan, that's about all they can hope for. He just needs somebody else to blow up, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. just got to drive the race of his life. And if he can cause a failure by somebody else, which, Jerry, I don't know how you do that, but if you could, this guy's back in the game.
But it was back in the spring here in February that Earnhardt Jr. and his teammate Martin Truex both lost an engine, and Earnhardt Jr. finished 40th. But Andy, he can't worry about now today.
They just got to hammer down. Don't worry about anything. This team has done a great job of performing at the racetrack. They haven't had that problem. It's just been some failures that have caused them some issues.
Brad Doherty?
Yeah, Doc, I spoke with Tony Eury Jr. this weekend, and we talked about that exact thing. I said, you know, do you feel like you're snake bitten with your engine problems? You know, they're running the SB2 package as opposed to the newer R07. He says no. He says we've had some things go wrong with our engines, and they've all just kind of added up. It's not one specific thing. So we're not concerned with that. He says, to be honest with you, Brad, I'm not even concerned with the chase. We're going to go out. We're going to do the best we can. We're going to run as hard as we can. We're going to try to lead every lap and let the chips fall where they may. That's Tony Jr.'s attitude about this whole situation.
Well, Brad, I think it's a whole team's attitude. What can they do? They just got to run the race of their life, and the whole world right now is watching the 8 car to see if he's going to get in the chase. And he's our story right now early, but he is doing just what he's got to do. He can't think about the motors and all that junk. Just drive that thing. He's doing a great job right now.
Completely different lines by 3 different drivers. Kyle Busch, the 5 car, is the leader, left side of your screen. The 17 car now solidly in 2nd place is Kenseth, and the Chevy, the car number 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 3rd.
Look how the momentum is on this 8 car, how he goes by. We got a little tire rub on the 55 car, it looks like.
Looks like he might have gotten the back of somebody. The top of the fender looks like it's knocked down on Michael's car, rubbing that tire. Take a look at Menard. Got a big run down that back straightaway up on the 55 of Michael. Michael might have to bring that thing in and fix it right now, but the guy back on pace, 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr., he just got past the front of Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, I saw just a little puff of smoke off of his fender there when he dove down in the corner, and that car traveled down on the fender, the fender roll and tire.
Now it seems like the 8 cars moved up high. A lot of these guys very high. You see the 55 now trailing a lot of smoke. And Andy, how long can you as a crew chief allow that to happen before you got to call him in?
That's a little bit more smoke than I want to see. I don't mind seeing, like we saw Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car go in there and puff a little smoke when the car goes down. But you don't want to see that smoke carry all the way into the corner like we're seeing with the 55. It's just a little bit to work, would worry me a little bit. Maybe a little too much.
We are being told from spotters that there was contact with the 88 car of Ricky Rudd. And speaking of Ricky Rudd, congratulations on a major milestone, his 900th career start. Only the 2nd driver in NASCAR history to reach that milestone. The other one was the King, Richard Petty, who logged 1,185 starts prior to his retirement. Speaking of Ricky Rudd, driver the number 88, our Aflac trivia question: where did Ricky Rudd make his very first career NASCAR Nextel Cup Series start? What do you think, guys?
I can't answer that one. It's got to be some short track in Virginia. Something like that. That's what I'm thinking.
Hold on to it. That thing's on fire. Got some more coming here. Hold the line. All right, come on down. Get that thing stopped. Get out of it. Get that thing stopped and get out of it.
Heavy contact and
motor blowed up or something.
Safety crews trying to get out to Michael Waltrip quickly. We saw the tire rubbing.
The flames are getting into 3.
Michael is yet to get out of the car. The flames are there. They're trying to get to him. They need to they have a sense of urgency to get him out of the car. Here comes the fire extinguishers. Michael finally trying to get out. The Hans device and some of the connections have him hung there. They're trying to pull him out of the car, and Michael is a very big guy. Over 6'5", 250 pounds, and they finally get him out of the car, and they get the flames extinguished.
Well, it really looked like he struggled getting out of the car. It took a lot longer than I would anticipated that happening, and he's breathing all that fumes, all the stuff from the fire extinguisher, but Mike looks pretty good right now.
I was worried about that left front tire rubbing. Rubbing just a little more than I'd like to see it.
Yeah, before I say anything, I want to see the replay, see what's going on, because Andy, that left front is smoking hard. Let's take a look at him getting down the back straightaway and see what happened here.
Heard the spotter say something blue. It must have been, it was that left front tire, looks like. And boy, just took, what did I get, an oil line?
Yeah, that's what the spotter said. It looked like it blew an engine, and that's the reason he said that, because that tire blew out and probably sheared an oil line off the oil pump or something on the engine, and that's what made all this fire.
You know, they always tell you when you're starting to learn how to drive, and NASCAR tells you also, guys, if you got a tire rub, it's generally not going to get better. Get it in and fix it. But he thought that maybe it might go away, and it didn't. Boy, big explosion on the left front tire, oil lines, everything, and what a tough deal.
Hold on to it. That thing's on fire. Got some more coming here. Hold the line. All right, come on down. Get that thing stopped. Get out of it.
Watch the window net.
Stop and get out of it.
He's trying to get the window net down in a hurry.
Motor blowed up or something.
You can see fire coming up in the cockpit, probably from the shifter tunnel or something inside the car there. There's a lot of heat inside that car. These guys wear fire protective clothing, and that's what probably saved Michael from getting burned or hurt worse in this car, and that gave him time to get out.
Well, when the tire blew, guys, it was so violent, it just caught on fire immediately, and he didn't hit the wall hard or anything. He just kind of slammed it a little bit, but right now he's disoriented. There's smoke inside the car he can't see. His spotters help him to slow down to get the car stopped. And Mike did hear enough to get the window net down, which is really good, but again, good job getting that thing in.
Fourth caution flag of today. Leaders now will all head on pit road. As the 5 car heads down, that is Kyle Busch. Let's go down to Jamie.
Well, guys, Matt Kenseth started 36. He worked his way up to second. How'd he do it? He took right sides only on the first stop. This time it's going to be 4 tires, no changes. He said the balance on that car is good. He's just lacking a little grip.
Leader Kyle Busch is a little bit tight around the center of the corner. Air pressure adjustment again for the 5 car. Mike?
Greg Biffle real loose. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. 1 pound out of the right rear. A 4-tire change, the call for Biffle. Alan?
Trying to get the front end of the 8 car to hook up a little bit better for Dale Jr. A 4-tire change and a little adjustment.
Watch the race off of pit road. The 5 car, Kyle Busch getting, he will not lose a thing. Matt Kenseth gains a spot. Truex Jr., great pit work for the DEI crew. He gains 3. Dale Earnhardt Jr. loses 2 positions. Tony Stewart up 3 into the top 10 here, back in 9th position. Crew camera, front tire carrier, Dale Long, Lexington, North Carolina on the 07. Clint Boyer. Got to get that tire that rolled away, get back to the wall, and get over to this side. Set for the restart here at California Speedway. The 70 car moving down. The 1 car behind him, Truex Jr., is the leader. Earnhardt, the 8 car, is second, and the 5 of Kyle Busch is third.
And boy, he just opened the door up right there. Truex did. He went to go around the outside of the 70 car of Sauter. And man, he just committed to the top, and then 8 car had to go to the bottom. That really helped him. Now, clean air, guys. That's what it's all about here at California Speedway, and Junior's got that right now. Really makes the car handle a lot better.
Seems like Junior's better after they run a few laps. This 5 car right on the restarts has been the fastest car. Then after they run 5-10 laps, it looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car gets better. It's going to be interesting to see now how he can handle this car in clean air.
You know, I see the 1 car and 8 car running so close together out here. Makes me think about all the engine problems they've had. Will these engines hold up? They've had a lot of engine problems, and so Junior can't stand any more of that problem right now with the position he's running in. Alan?
Hey, Rusty, during that caution flag, while he was motoring around the racetrack, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a long conversation with his crew chief, Tony Uri Jr., and he said, I'm not going to be your best friend tonight. I'm going to complain a lot about the car. I'm going to complain about the conditions, because it's hot out here, it's tough racing, and I'm just not going to be your friend tonight. I thought it was kind of funny.
Well,
Dave?
Yeah, that is pretty funny, Alan. And a little comedy as well with the 5 crew. Kyle Busch trying to keep his guys loose on the first pit stop, first round. They just killed him. Those were Kyle's words. On this last pit stop, they lost a couple of spots and just trying to keep him loose. He said, that's all right, guys. It felt like a good stop, but then Alan Gustafson reminded him that they made some significant changes on that car, slowed him down just a little bit, and that's why he lost a couple of spots on pit road.
Thanks, guys. The 5 car is very good, as you guys mentioned, on the restart. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now trying to hang on that bottom line, but we're riding along with a car that has really been awfully good here the last 10 laps. That is last night's winner, Jeff Burton.
Looks like they got his car tuned up on that last pit stop, too. He's been hanging around the top 10, top 5, but he's now up here challenging these guys for the lead.
All right, you just wondered how fast these cars go. There's 202 miles an hour going into turn 1. Last night in the Busch race, we saw about 195, so just a little bit slower for the Busch Series than the Cup guys here. But, Andy, that's a lot of speed carrying down into turn 1, and it's pretty hot out there with no grip.
Watching Dale Earnhardt Jr. in second spot. More, DJ?
Yeah, just thinking about what Junior was telling Tony Uri Jr. there. I bet if he can make his car as he tries to take the lead here again, I bet if he can get that car to victory lane for it, he could probably find him a seat on his jet going home and get him home a lot faster than he would if he can get him to victory lane.
Yeah, that's not a bad point. It's a long way home, but if you can get a jet ride home, hey, that's what it's all about. We've been out here in California for a long time, and it's been really hot. But take a look at this action, 3 wide. Coming off of turn 2, and that's the flat portion of the track. Whoa, that's tight.
Bottom, middle, and top. It's the Jeff Burton sandwich. Earnhardt Jr. goes all the way to the bottom of the racetrack, jams the throttle, and takes the lead away from the 31 and the 5 car.
And we said Junior's got to run the race of his life. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to go for it, and that's what he's doing right now. They've got the 5 points. Now he's going for the most laps led. If they can stay up with the chassis, he's going to have a good finish tonight.
I love this format. You got these guys up the front racing hard. I mean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is racing for his life right here, trying to make that top 12 in points. And then you got Jeff Burton back here. He wants to get another win. He wants to try to get some extra bonus points when this thing does go into the chase. So I just love it. He's got a lot of, motivation for these guys to go out there and win races.
Dave?
And talked with Jeff Burton and crew chief Scott Miller in the hauler today before the race, and they were talking about how they came into this weekend attitude-wise. Wanted to try just a few things. I said, well, did you make anything significant game-wise? And Jeff said, no, not really, but it got us to thinking about things we might try next week, things we might try 2 weeks down the road, things we have tried here and didn't work out. It got our minds working on other stuff we could do, and as we mentioned, they have the luxury in the space they are in this race to the chase.
Well, right now, Jimmy Johnson, just his last time by, was equaling the leader of Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now in speed. And the track's changed, but boy, one thing I'm noticing, guys, is the sun. Coming down the back straight, it was starting to get really bad on these drivers.
Jimmy Johnson has not led a lap today. He is a native Californian from nearby El Cajon down near San Diego. Ran the Nascar Busch Series race last night, only his second start in the Busch Series, and now moving to the inside of the 31 car for 3rd position. There's Jimmy Johnson all the way down on the bottom of the racetrack, and up front there side by side is the 5 car in Earnhardt, Kyle Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Earnhardt Jr. can't get much closer to the wall than he was a moment ago.
And Junior's thinking, Kyle Busch, you're aggravating me. I'm so tired of passing you. Hey, look at this sun. Really blinding sun. It's going to get worse, guys. Right in the windshield of these drivers, and it's really hard to see. Now, that's not real bad right there, but it's going to get worse. Dave?
And his crew chief on Jeff Burton's car, Rocky Ryan, telling him single file going in. That's good information as the sun gets into your eyes there. You need to know what the cars look like because you can't see all of them. But Jeff Burton may have a right rear tire going down. That was his self-evaluation. And he's now complaining about being loose in the car as well. So that's what alerted him. He's monitoring it. And we got a crash, guys.
Trouble on the racetrack. The 7 car of Robbie Gordon and rolled right across the racetrack and almost caught the right side of another car and was down on the apron. Robbie Gordon had been running so well in that 7 car. Had moved
Get on in here. Let's take it right to the garage. Take the soul.
That's about as fast as I ever seen any car go down the racetrack backwards against the wall.
That was your.
He looked like he was running as fast backwards, Andy, as he was forward a little while ago. That was incredible how quick he was going.
But it felt fast, too, going backwards.
Yeah.
Robbie Gordon from Orange, California, one of the 7 California natives running here. He will turn in onto pit road at the very end down toward turn 1.
He's running about 140 miles an hour backwards at this point right now. The front end flies back around on the car right now, barely misses some of the oncoming cars. But boy, when he lost that car, that thing turned around on a dime and just flew down against this wall as it goes past us now. That's very unusual looking. When I was watching that, I went, man, don't believe I've ever seen anybody that quick.
That was our in-race reporter, Clint Boyer, in the 07, involved in this also.
He's up there scraping along that wall. Looks like he's going to have some damage also, too. That right front corner tore up pretty good, but it looks like the suspension's okay, Andy. So if they can pull those fenders out, get them off the tires, not lose a lap, he's back in the hunt.
Clint Boyer, who came in to this race 9th in the point standings, needed to finish 2nd or better to lock himself into the race for the chase. And with this incident, he'll be back toward the back of the pack. Lap 85, caution number 6. Now watch the 7 car right in front of Jeff Green here. The 7 car, Robbie Gordon spin.
On the inside, all the way at the bottom. Come on, one more. Come on. Come on.
Oh.
Clear.
And as a driver, you don't know which way that guy's going to go. If he's going to stay on top of the track, slide across. Pit stops are happening. We'll see what's happening here.
Kyle Busch leads him down. Dale Earnhardt Jr. stays on the racetrack. Let's go down to Jamie Little.
Well, guys, Carl Edwards rebounded from those early mistakes early on. He's in his pit box now. They decided they are going to take the 4 tires because he needs an adjustment. He needs to tighten it up a bit, so it was worth taking the risk and taking 4 tires and losing some time. Dave?
For Jeff Burton, Jamie, they said, since we potentially have a problem, let's go ahead and change 4 tires, no chassis adjustments, just to make sure there's nothing wrong with that right rear. Mike?
Jimmy Johnson saying the car's getting a little bit loose off turn 4. Otherwise, pretty good. A 4-tire change in fuel. No adjustments. Alan?
And Kurt Busch pits from 5th position. They made adjustments on the last pit stop. He liked it a lot. They're going to go a little bit more this time with 4 new tires.
Scrambled off of pit road, and you see that Matt Kenseth gains 8 spots. Brian Vickers in the Toyota up 12 position. You see Kyle Busch lost a spot. Kurt Busch was a push. Jimmy Johnson -3. You heard about the adjustments there because he was loose off of turn 4. Jeff Burton, they went to all 4 tires. He got a break because they thought he had a right rear going down. A big break for Jeff Burton on this caution flag. Talk about Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the effort he's putting in. Realistically, guys, you guys have been around this sport a long time. How much would he need to cut it tonight to have a shot, a legitimate shot at Richmond next Saturday night?
If I'm those guys, I'd want to see that thing below 100 points, and quite a bit below 100 points going into Richmond, because that's the only thing. If you're over 100, it's not going to be realistic to be able to make it up in one race.
Right now, he's 104 out of it. He's cut it pretty big time. Was it 54 points since he started this race? But man, he better be careful with that top of that wall. He's been rim riding that thing lap after lap, and that's starting to concern me there.
Remember, the last win he had was at Richmond back in the spring of a year ago. He's very good at that racetrack, but why is he in the situation he's in? Because of engine problems. He has had 5 DNFs, 4 of which have taken place due to engine. And remember, he also had a 100-point penalty because of a bracket on the spoiler at Darlington. That cost him 100 points. And folks, without that penalty, he'd be 4 points out of 12 spot right now. How big is that here with 2 events to go in the race to the chase? DJ?
You know, we talk about Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the job that he is doing and how difficult it is to gain points here, and he's still a little over 100 points if the race were to end right now. But with as many cars as we have on the lead lap, still 35 cars right now on the lead lap, a flat tire by one of those guys, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, the 1 car or the 07 car, you could really change this dramatically. So as long as he continues to do his job, as we see him throwing up dust up on the top side right now, things could change in a real hurry because we have so many guys on the lead lap at this point.
He's just going for broke. He's driving this car so hard. He's all the way up against the wall. You see the rooster tails, that sand up next to the wall, he just keeps kicking up. We saw guys last night trying to get up there and flirt with that wall, end up spinning out and crashing.
Well, right now he's not giving himself an out. He's just running so close against the wall. I got a replay here I want to show you. Let's take a look from earlier when he was running really close to the top. He's really flirting with it. Look at this. He gets into turn 1, right up in the gray. Whoa.
Back inside, back inside. Got in there a little deep.
I said he got in there a little deep. And when you get in there a little deep, that wall comes at you awful fast. And, you know, we saw Denny Hamlin do that last night and spin. The pit stops are just starting to come around right now. 16 car, Greg Biffle.
Mike?
And last time down pit road, remember, Greg Biffle took just right side tires and made a track bar adjustment. Expect them to make a 4-tire change this time. A wedge adjustment as well on the left side, as you saw. A pretty significant one, too. At least 2 turns there. They move around to the left side of the car, now making the move there. Changing rubber, dropping them off the jack, and away goes Greg Biffle.
Greg Biffle has struggled so bad. He's got himself a lap down, and that car has not been handling. That's very unlikely from what you normally see with Greg Biffle. He's one of the best drivers out there, but just been really struggling with this car.
He's gambling a little bit here, trying to short pit on these guys. I think these leaders can go about 8 or 10 more laps, and so he's trying to get in here and short pit, maybe get a few laps on them and try to get some. If the caution doesn't come out, he'll be able to gain some ground.
Yeah, short pitting, what do you mean by that?
That means just pit before the gas tank runs dry, and you just get in there and get you some tires, because these tires really, there's a lot to be gained by getting 4 new tires on the car. You can gain up to a second or second and a half.
And that's a good feel, because when you short pit and you go out there in those fresh tires and those guys are still out there in the old tires, you're gaining so much track position. And that's what Greg Biffle and his team are trying to do right now. And that's a great explanation, because that's what he needs to do right now. He's kind of in trouble.
1 car of Martin Truex Jr. having a really good run, similar to what he had up in Michigan a couple of weeks ago on a track almost identical to this. 26 in the pits in front of you, Alan.
Jamie McMurray struggling, which about typifies the way that their summer has been so far, Doc. They have had all kinds of trouble since about the 1st of July. A number of crashes, some different problems. The crew chief, Larry Carter, said they hope they can turn it around with a good run tonight at one of what has statistically been one of Jamie McMurray's very best racetracks.
You know, they won at Daytona, a really exciting finish right there, won by about 4 or 5 inches. And he's been struggling ever since. And the Chevrolets at this racetrack seem like they're so strong, it's unreal, guys. I just haven't seen any other brands. The top 5 right now is Chevrolet, and just so strong. And the Fords have been struggling here, but we've got Casey Kane on pit road right now. Mike?
And Casey Kane's main complaint tonight, very loose. You know, their expectations were pretty modest coming into this race. I spoke with Kenny Francis before the race began. He said if they could finish on the lead lap, that would be a success. So if you were wondering if Gillette Evernham Motorsports was completely back, that should answer your question. They've been struggling mightily throughout the night. A 4-tire change on the 9.
These are the kind of racetracks that this team's been struggling on, too. It's these big downforce racetracks with the old car. The Car of Tomorrow program seems to be pretty good for this team, but they've really struggled with this car on these big tracks this year.
And you know, you wonder why that is, because they've been so strong in the 1.5 miles last year. In fact, dominating. 21 car on pit road, Bill Elliott.
Bill Elliott, a 12-time most popular driver in the sport, getting service on his car. The 99 of Carl Edwards in front of you, Jamie Little.
And last stop, they made up 2 positions. Right now, Carl said his car is loose around the bottom, but tight up top. So they're just going to make an air pressure adjustment, all 4 tires, fuel and tires, and that's all, guys. He came in and he was safe. Carl Edwards is away.
And now finally the 5 car of Kyle Busch, who has led 6 times for 88 laps. He will come down with just 97 laps to go at California Speedway. Kyle Busch, who won here back in the fall of 2005 at the age of 20 years old. Dave.
And one thing they notice on this car, as the track gets cooler, a little looser this race car gets. So they're going to make a chassis adjustment as well as a air pressure adjustment, perhaps. Try to tighten this car up just a bit for Kyle Busch. He comes in the leader. Let's see where it cycles out. Alan.
Dale Jr. pits from second place. Going to be a 4-tire change here. He said as the conditions have cooled, his car has begun to turn better. He's having a good time out there right now, Mike.
Johnson complaining the car's a little bit loose, but there might be a bigger concern. Chad Canals telling him to turn both batteries on. There may be electrical concerns on the 48.
Both batteries turning them on. You watch the Martin Truex car. Truex has had great runs recently, a second at Michigan, the 11th last week at Bristol. Hanging tough in the top 10 in the points, trying to get in the chase. Jeff Burton is in, Dave.
One of the main things he wanted was to get the rear of the car into the track more. You can't see the rear of the car there, but they're going to make adjustments. Track bar and air pressure, trying to get a better feel for Jeff so that rear grip works better for the 31 driver right now. Running fourth earlier, coming in. We'll see where this cycles out as well for Jeff. Allen.
And Denny Hamlin brings the FedEx car down pit road. He had been kind of struggling when the sun was out and it was warm, but as the track conditions have cooled, he's been moving up. He was in 12th position just before the sequence of pit stops begins. It's a 4-tire change here for the 11th car. And there is Kurt Busch, who also comes down pit road. He has really been slipping back. Kurt has fallen back as far as 15th spot. Remember, this was the guy that started on pole and led a lot in the opening laps. Jamie?
David Ruderman, the 00, having the race of his night. Started 28th, went all the way to the lead before succumbing to the pit stop. He said he's bad in the center. He's really loose, but guys, he continues to fight. We'll see where this Toyota ends up at the end of the night. Trouble in front of David Ruderman.
Well, the 41 car coming in really sideways like that and almost blocked David in the pits. He got out pretty good. These pits are pretty wide. These are some of the longest pit roads and widest pit roads we have on the circuit here.
41 car, they try to get the car pushed back and right, and it was nosed in against the wall.
The car may have been low on fuel and couldn't get it started after the pit stop.
Yeah, that very well could have been. He got in a little hot, got the car in kind of sideways, but slid for a while, but still had a long enough pit not to cross over the line and not get a penalty.
You watch Reed Sorensen's car move back out. I'll mention you saw the pit stop a moment ago with David Ruderman, and Jamie mentioned he had led. He did indeed lead a lap. The first time the 00 has led a lap this year. Heard Dale Jarrett talking about what a great young man he is and how much talent he's got. Speaking of great talent, the 5 car. Kyle Busch, can he drive a loose race car or what? He is sideways in the corner, just dirt tracking, but he is leading here at California Speedway. Tony Stewart is our leader, and if you just joined our coverage, they've changed about everything but the sponsor and the number on this car on pit road a little while ago to get the car to where Tony could drive it, and it certainly paid off, but they're rolling the dice a little bit now on the fuel.
Well, he's got the track position right now. He's leading the race, and pretty shortly we probably have to come down pit road because Jimmy Johnson is out there in 4th position right now, running 1 second faster than Tony Stewart and really cutting it down. He's only 10 seconds behind Tony right now. So Tony's just nursing this Home Depot car around the track right now, holding on, just waiting for a caution.
Let's ride along with our Wrangler telemetry on board here, Andy, and look at the RPMs that Tony's still turning here late in a fuel run.
Yeah, you can see how fast these guys run down the straightaway, 200 miles an hour entering the corner. And they don't slow down a whole lot in the corners because they're so big and wide. And so the RPM only drops down to 6100 you see right there. That's why it's so hard on engines here.
Give a call to this crew, the 84 car. That is A.J. Allmendinger. They are having one heck of a night here as these guys are finally trying to be able to get the chance to run some laps. Dave?
And a pretty good race car all night for AJ. Put tires on it every time they had an opportunity. They're having a little trouble on the left side. He's now off of pit road, but he was trying that same strategy too. Maybe if we stay out, we can catch everybody a lap down. Didn't happen for him. The main thing for him, laps. That's why he ran the Busch race last night until the big wreck late in the going, and that's why he's on the track today. He actually credited the Busch race practice for getting him into this race. He said that gave me confidence when qualifying came around to get on this hot, greasy racetrack and put this car in the field, and it's been a good run.
getting some experience making pit stops too. We saw him make a little bit of a rookie mistake getting in the pits and getting there sideways and really too close to the wall for the pit crew guys to get on the left side, but they made it happen and got him out. See, he's trying to get in here hot, trying to save as much time as possible. Slides those front tires, and when they're sliding, they won't turn. Gets up next to the wall. The crew guys really reacted well here and got him back out without any problems. So the Jackman having just a little bit of trouble there on that wall. Front tire changer doesn't have much room to work with. This is things that this guy will learn as he gets more and more experience and makes more and more stops.
Well, the Jackman had to give us some extra pumps to get that thing up because he just couldn't get that jack handle all the way down because that wall was in the way. But I do like what he said about running in the Busch race because there's some great drivers out there that can't get these cars qualified because they just need more time on the track, and that really helped A.J. Allmendinger by running that Busch race.
Tony Stewart, we are being told, should come on the pit road this time by. Stewart trying to hold on as long as he could.
4700 second, 47. Here we come.
Now, this was Tony Stewart's worst case scenario. He needed that caution. Now he's lost a ton of track position to Jimmy Johnson. He just got to hope for the best now.
Let's go down to Mike Massaro.
Well, Doc, since making the shock adjustment and the sway bar adjustment, Tony Stewart said the car has been 1,000% better. Very happy with it. Unfortunately, though, this gamble will not pay off. He's on pit road right now. He gives up his track position as the team goes to work. They're going to make a slight chassis adjustment as well as a 4-tire change on the 20 car. They're done on the right side now. Left side service begins. The car's being jacked up and the 2 tires being bolted on, and he is finally away.
Another good pit stop of 14.3. We've been seeing these mid-14-second stops all night long. And, boy, Andy, these crew guys are really in good shape. I mean, they practice this stuff like crazy. Pretty impressive.
What's more impressive is it's 95 degrees out there still. And these guys have been pumping these jacks and hitting those air wrenches all night long.
Here's Casey Mears from nearby Bakersfield, California, making what should be his final pit stop. He was the leader as he heads down pit road. Alan?
Well, Andy Peachy would know if you don't have the car that's running up front contending for the win, what do? You try and engineer a strategy that can steal a win away. They were hoping, they pitted at lap 180, but a lot of the other front runners did not. They were hoping that after they ran several laps, they'd get a caution and everyone would pit. That would gain them some track position and allow them a chance to race for the win. Obviously, we stayed green. It didn't work out. So Casey Mears will pit here and give up his spot at the head of the pack.
Yeah, if you don't have a car to win, sometimes you try to just any kind of strategy to make it happen or steal one, as they say. And I've had plenty of them stole for me, and I've stole a few myself.
But Jimmy's got a pretty good lead, but he's starting to get run down now.
Like Carl Edwards ran completely down the apron and through that corner.
Dale, I'll tell you what, the 48 car Johnson, I mean, the same thing keeps happening to him. A little while ago, he had like a 3-second lead. Now it's down to 1.8 over Kyle Busch. But take a look at those lap times down there. I mean, Edwards is flying.
Yeah, Carl Edwards is really coming on right now. He's got a set of tires that looks like really is working for him. Jimmy Johnson, the thing about leading the race right now is, yeah, he's fast on new tires, but now he's encountering a lot of traffic also. And it depends on where you catch that traffic if you can run the line that you want to. And so this is going to really get interesting. I wasn't sure that we were going to have an interesting finish, but I think Carl Edwards and probably even Kyle Busch are going to make this a 3-way battle, and we're going to really have something exciting.
Well, Brad, I'll tell you, the 99 car just got past the 5-car Kyle Busch, and that last time by, Johnson is just slowing down more and more yet.
Well, Carl Edwards is definitely coming. The question I have is how hard is Jimmy Johnson driving the race car? I mean, is he, when he gets the competition level that it creeps up to him, maybe he drives a little bit harder. I know there's nothing to save with only 14 laps to go, but maybe he's just taking care of those race tires and waiting, keeping enough distance between himself and his competitors to give himself a chance to win here. But they are definitely gaining on him.
Important for these guys to be able to clinch a spot in the chase tonight. You do not want this to go to Richmond and have to worry about surviving on the action track at Richmond. Jimmy Johnson needed to finish 37th or better. Right now he's first. Anything can happen on the final 14 laps. Jeff Burton needed to finish 35th to clinch a spot. Kyle Busch 25th. And Clint Boyer needed to finish second or better. He is back in 19th position. So right now, 3 of those 4 would clinch a spot in the chase, which means we would have 8 drivers in the chase. Of course, going into Richmond. Whoa, a bit of a wiggle back there for the 31 car. And by the way, Jimmy Johnson's 5th win would put him at the top of all those drivers that are in the chase in terms of bonus points when the chase would begin. 31 car had a bit of a wiggle, Dave.
Yep, and he's been having some struggles here at the end, just doing everything in the world that he can do to try to finish this race further forward, but it's been a handful for him. And Burton is, there he is right now talking on the radio.
Holy crap, all I can do is just all I can do. I just gotta hope it stays long and it stays off for us. It's so loose right now. That's all I can do.
And that is a frustrating thing, Rusty, when the car is just not able to run as fast as you can and you're driving your heart out.
Well, he is just holding on to that thing for dear life right now. He's using the whole racetrack up, and as Dale knows, he's putting very little steering input into it, Dale. I mean, this car is real sideways, but it's fast right now.
Yeah, it really is. But, Russ, you know, at this point in time in the race, you want a fast race car. You're running your fastest lap, but you're tired. They've been out here for over 3.5 hours now battling these race cars in intense heat, and now he's having to fight a loose race car. So you know he's got a good grip on that steering wheel.
And speaking of fighting, Brad and DJ, how about this 8 car? If you're Dale Earnhardt Jr., you have driven your heart out tonight, knowing you had to do the equivalent of a motorsports Hail Mary to get your car in the chase. He is back in 5th position with 11 laps to go, and he's really not gained a lot here. Still 128 points away from the chase.
Doc, but you really have to give him a pat on the back. This whole Bud team has really worked extremely hard. And like I said, Tony Eury Jr. told me earlier today, he said, Brad, we may be out of this thing, but I tell you what, we're going to work until the last flag is thrown and get the most out of this race team. And he's proud of the effort. And I tell you what, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he drove the salt out of that race car tonight, Dale.
Yeah, not only tonight, but these other races where they got behind, he had himself in position anyway. He was running in the top 5 of those races where they had an engine problem. So let's give him credit. He has driven his heart out at every single race. So we talk about tonight, you can't put it on just one time. He's done his job in the driver's seat every single week.
Guys, I really got to believe that right now, if Dale Earnhardt Jr. doesn't make this chase for the championship, it's going to be a relief for him. He's probably going to try to win all the races he can and look forward to his new ride next year.
Yeah, you would think they'd want to put a period on the end of this year. It's been a tumultuous year, a lot going on, and just really, really difficult time. But they've all handled it extremely well. But I think you're right, Rusty. I think they'd like to close the door on this deal and move on.
Well, look who's sneaking in this picture right now, the 99 of Carl Edwards. He is not much faster the time before, but this last lap, 0.3 faster than Jimmy Johnson. And that 99 car is starting to look a lot bigger in Jimmy's mirror right now.
Carl Edwards, who is the NASCAR Busch Series points leader by a wide margin, trying to get this car into the chase. And how about maybe winning 2 championships, winning a Busch and Cup titles? He's hanging on here for the final 9 laps. Jamie.
And Carl Edwards knows exactly what lap times he's turning, whether he's in the back or running up front. But right now his team is telling him, you're the fastest man on the racetrack. Carl came over the radio and said, you need to move that car out ahead of me. That 83, I believe it's the 83, told him to move him out of the way. So they were going down to the pit to talk to the guys to ask him to move on over. You guys can see from better up there. I know it's not the 83.
You know, I mentioned earlier in the pre-race show, Dale, I said the fittest guy was going to win this race. And I said Jimmy Johnson had a great chance. I totally forgot about Carl Edwards. He may be the fittest guy on the planet. And you can see right now, he's up on the wheel. He's in the seat tight, and he's coming hard.
Yeah, it's hard to forget about him. This man works out constantly, and he's showing right now exactly what that's worth on the racetrack. And we talk about the shortest way around the racetrack that Jimmy Johnson was taking on the bottom of the track, where Carl Edwards was just on the apron. So I guess he's found even a shorter way around yet.
Now, you guys, I tell you, talk about all that working out stuff. I know you got to be healthy, but I've never seen him make the car handle any better.
Spoken like a guy who never lifted a weight in his life.
No, I really haven't. I always paid attention to my car. You know, if I was in better shape, I probably could have run faster. But Andy, 99 car, every lap by, he's on the bottom, looking underneath the white line a little while ago.
We've seen him high, we've seen him low. We saw him run completely on the apron there a few laps. But you can't tell me this is the hottest race of the year by far that we've run. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the 2 fittest guys in the field are up front.
Well, I'm not going to argue that point, that's for sure. That Jimmy Johnson's in incredible shape, and so is Carl Edwards.
Carl Edwards, who won at Bristol, Tennessee. And how tough is that racetrack physically and mentally on a driver? Carl Edwards came to the front there and stayed, picking up his second win of the year. Last week, can he get back-to-back wins? Can he get back-to-back championships? Can he win a Busch title and a Cup title in the same year? But right now, it's this guy here, Jimmie Johnson. What a week he had, coming back to his hometown of El Cajon, California.
Right now, the 99 car's not catching him much. He really was running Jimmy down for a good while. It's kind of stabilized right now. That last lap, about a 1/10 of a second faster. But guys, with 6 laps to go, Dale, getting there and passing him, that's two different things.
Yeah, I think he's not going to be able to get there. It looked a while ago that Jimmie Johnson was slowing down some, that maybe he had worn his tires out. But, you know, I think they brought up a good point a while ago. Was he holding back a little bit? And, you know, he might have been holding back just a little bit. You know, last week, I think some people talked about David Reagan bringing out a few cautions at Bristol, which is a very difficult place. But let's give him credit tonight. He's done a terrific job here. He's the highest running rookie tonight. And this is a young man that has a lot of talent. And as he gets more time in these cars, he's going to learn how to finish races off and be up front and eventually start winning these.
Yeah, I totally agree, DJ. David Reagan, a second-generation driver. His dad, a Cup and ARCA veteran. Now working building race cars and building Legends cars in Charlotte. 4 laps to go here to the checkered flag.
Well, right now, we got 17 cars on the lead lap. Greg Biffle in the 17th position. And it's a race between Jimmie Johnson and Carl Edwards. That time by Jimmie Johnson, a faster lap by a 1/10 of a second. So, Andy, you got to know that Jimmie Johnson's those guys behind him, and he's just driving every single lap like it's a qualifying lap.
I guarantee you, he and Carl Edwards are driving as hard as they can. These 10 bonus points that they get for winning these races right now are going to pay off in that chase, and they know it. They're trying to go as hard as they can to get them. And Jimmie Johnson and his team have done a great job tonight. Got to hand it to Chad Canals to keeping his team rallied up front all night.
About 100 laps ago, Mike Massaro told us during a pit stop that Chad Canals guaranteed these guys were going to win this race. I mean, I said that's pretty gutsy to make that kind of guarantee 100 laps away from the checkered flag. But by heck, you know, with 3 laps to go, they may just pull it off.
Every sport's about confidence, and you can't win unless you're confident. And this sport's no different. He's trying to just rally these guys up. He was very confident his team could do it.
3 laps to go.
Brad?
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right, Andy. I talked to Chad last week at Bristol, and he said, you know, we haven't run here that well in the past, but we've got a good race car, and we've got the attitude to get a win tonight. He was so excited, and they were really disappointed with their 24th place finish. But they come back into here, Dale, and I tell you, they're right back up on the wheel, right back up on their game.
Yeah, we might see that they're 6th in the points right now, but after next week with this win tonight, if they go on here in the next lap and get this victory, they're going to be at the top of the standings.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, he's back. Let's go back to the booth.
2 laps to go. Chad Canals, right side of your screen. It's all about confidence and leadership, and he's got both in hand there for the 48 car of Jimmie Johnson. He led his driver to a Nextel Cup title in 2006. He told his crew, we're going to win it here tonight. He told them 100 laps ago they're going to win it tonight. Jimmie Johnson, the young man from El Cajon, California, came back to his hometown this week for a charitable golf tournament. A celebrity golf tournament and a charity auction to raise money for Habitat for Humanity for San Diego. He's inducted into the Hall of Fame at his high school. First time he's been back since 1993. And now on the final lap at California Speedway, Jimmie Johnson, the California kid, is going to do something he wanted to do here for a long time, coming home. Not only to visit the family and friends, but to go to Victory Lane at California Speedway. He has not won since May 6th, race number 10 at Richmond. But guess what? Tonight at California Speedway, race number 25, Jimmie Johnson takes the victory. Carl Edwards finishes 2nd, Kyle Busch is 3rd, Jeff Burton 4th, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishing 5th overall. He will be 128 points out of 12th position headed to the final race.
Going into the chase. Jimmie Johnson, you're the man. Good job.
Jimmie Johnson picks up his 5th win of the year. Clinches a spot in the chase, and right now he would get the top seed in the chase for this Nextel Cup. Dave.
And he's begun climbing from the car, and what a homecoming weekend for Jimmy Johnson, a true Golden State Warrior. Grew up south of here in El Cajon, California, and now picks up his second career California victory. But you had to work for this one. Your car was not perfect at the beginning. How much did you need to search around to find that right line that really suited your race car?
Well, the confetti machine works. We can see that. You know, it just was a long night. The track was changing. The 5 car and some guys can make the top work really good, and I just couldn't make it work long enough. I get a couple good laps, but I really focused on the bottom, and it paid off.
With the win, you now know that you will have at least a share of the #1 seed in the chase. How satisfying is that?
It's very satisfying. The season's all about a championship, especially when you get in the chase. We're fortunate to be in that situation, and it's time for the pressure to pick up. It's time for the hard work to start, and my guys are ready for it. Today showed it, and I can't thank Lowe's enough for letting me run the Jimmy Johnson Foundation logos on the car this weekend. To win here after our big tournament and everything we had this week, the foundation sticker on the side is a special day. So thanks to all the employee owners at Lowe's as well. It's been a few months since we won, and it's good to be back.